You ready to get started?
You bet.
Okay. Welcome, one and all, to the Tony Pruitt Show. Today's guest is one of the greatest auto racers of all time. He is a living legend. He is one of only two drivers who have won races in Formula One, IndyCar, and World Sports Car Championship and NASCAR. He has also won races in midget car racing and sprint car racing. He is the only person to be named United States Driver of the Year in 3 decades, 60s, 70s, and 80s. He is one of only 3 drivers who have won major races on road courses, paved ovals, and dirt tracks in one season, which he's done 4 times. He has become the first driver to have won IndyCar races in 4 different decades and the first to win automobile races of any kind in 5 decades. He is credited with winning 111 races. Please welcome the greatest auto racer of all time, Mr. Mario Andretti. How you doing, sir?
Great, Tony. Thanks for having me.
That's a long list of accomplishments.
Well, I've been very, very fortunate. And, as you can imagine, I always say that I was very blessed throughout my career, and I was able to just go on and, just pretty much go after my most ambitious goals. And the sport was very good to me, no question about it.
Well, before we start, I wanted you to know that I'm a new fan to this sport. I'm a football guy by heart, and I've just recently become interested in your sport. So please excuse me if I'm not as educated as other people have been. So I'm new, but I've become a big fan. So,
Great.
So you're a very busy man. So you have a winery, a petroleum business. What other businesses are you involved in right now?
Well, basically, what you just mentioned, we have also a what we call entertainment facility, which is go-karts and all kinds of games and other just simulators and everything. We're in 3 different states now. We're in Georgia and Texas and Florida. And these are wonderful facilities. In fact, I was just visiting one of our latest ones in Dallas this past weekend, and it's in a shopping center, not a shopping center, entertainment area, really, that Warren Buffett owns, and we're featured there. And it's we're, like I said, I'm very proud of those. They call it AIKNG. It's Andretti Karting and Games.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
Indoor karting.
Yeah, indoor karting and games, yeah.
Indoor, even better.
Oh, yeah, The buildings are up to, some buildings, depending where we are, up to 100,000 square feet. So we have everything,
oh, wow.
You name it. It's like I said, we're very proud of that, and we're expanding. We're building 3 more, and then in the next year we will have. We're in Chicago, well, near Chicago. We're in Arizona. We'll be in Arizona.
Wow.
And more in Texas. Yeah. We have 6 of them going, operating right now.
That's very impressive. That's awesome. How does it feel to be named the driver of the century, or basically the greatest racer of all time? How does that make you feel?
Well, I'm in awe of all this. Obviously. I mean, it's it's a sport that has given me so much, so much satisfaction, and whenever someone mentions something like this, it's it's the ultimate reward that you could bestow on anyone. Just like to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, for instance. It's something you don't plan on, but when that happens, you pinch yourself. Oh my goodness, somebody
Absolutely
appreciates the kind of work that I did. So that's what it's all about.
Well, let's start from the beginning. You were born in Italy, correct?
Yes, indeed.
And how did you and when did you come to America?
Well, we came to America when I was 15 years old. We were a product of World War II, actually. we became refugees in our own country because a region where I was born of Italy was occupied by Yugoslavia after the war. Italy had to give that region up because they lost the war, and we were trapped inside communist country. And about, it's estimated around 250,000, a little more people in that region left so as not to succumb to communism, hardline communism under Marshal Tito and Yugoslavia. And so we became refugees. We were in a refugee camp in Lucca in Tuscany for 8 years, from 48 to 55.
Wow.
About 7 years, and in 55 we immigrated. We came to America. We had an uncle on my mother's side that had been here for many, many years, and he suggested, why don't you come to America? And that was probably the best thing that could have happened to us in our lives, because all the opportunities that America has to offer is what we took advantage of. I did, of course, and I don't think that if we would have remained in Italy, I would have been able to pursue the career that the love for the sport started. I had a twin brother. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he and I just fell in love with the sport of racing, because motor racing was so prominent in Italy, even in the 50s when I was a teenager, because of Ferrari, Maserati, Alfa Romeo, and current world champions. My idol, the one that actually pretty much is the one responsible for me pursuing this career, was Alberto Ascari, who was current world champion in 53 and 54. But he unfortunately was killed in 1955. But nevertheless, that did not deter me from pursuing this career. And that said, as soon as we came to America, but 2 years later, in 1957, I was 17 years old, and we started building a race car, a stock car to race locally. And 2 years after that, the car was done, and I started racing in 1959, and I raced uninterrupted until 1994, which I retired officially from open wheel. But then I raced also three times in the 24 hours of Le Mans, and my last professional race was in 2000. So I raced from 1959 to 2000, basically professionally.
Unbelievable. Now, I read in the news where Michael Andretti and you yourself, you're trying to get a race team together, right?
It's Michael, my son Michael. Yeah, my oldest son. It's his project, not mine.
Not yours.
No. I mean, I'm obviously I'm somewhat part of it on the side, but it's entirely his project, and it's his goal, to enter Formula One as well. Besides everything else that he has going right now, which is extensive, by the way.
Sure.
In the sport. He's in the process of hopefully getting that done and being accepted as the 11th team in Formula One. So it could happen in the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
So it's looking pretty good?
Things looking pretty good. I think all the requirements are in place right now, basically. And I don't know what else they can do. I mean, they've answered all of the prerequisites, and that's all you can expect. And
sure,
they're ready to go.
So, growing up, who was your childhood hero?
I mentioned that it was Alberto Ascari.
That was your hero.
That was my hero, all time, absolutely. You know what's interesting, Tony, is that and I was inducted in the International Hall of Fame in I think it was 1990, and Alberto Ascari posthumously was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1992. And I was a presenter. I was a presenter of the induction trophy to his son, Antonio. And
what an honor that was.
Incredible. I mean, incredible, like, coming full circle, like, it's, well, why was I, when I, pretty much became aware of motor racing in such a way that, just became a passion, if you will, even at the early age. How could I have even dreamt about that I'm going to be in International Hall of Fame just before my idol, and I'm going to be the presenter. It's amazing.
It's a dream come true.
Yeah, what goes on in life, it's and I have another one too, that my very first race, the very first race of real consequence, such as the Italian Grand Prix, which happens in Monza, still does. My brother and I were taken over to see this race in 1954 at age 14, and in 1978, that's where I clinched the world championship right there at that race. So here again, when you look back at, so many things that happen in an incredible way. I mean, something that you can never even possibly dream about.
Sure, absolutely. So in the beginning, like you said, you raced stock car, correct?
I did that too. Yeah, I did that at the beginning. Yeah, at the beginning of my career. Then I wanted to get into open wheel. My objective was to get into Indy cars and ultimately to Formula One as well. So, but along the way, I had opportunities, and I did some NASCAR stock cars. I did some USAC stock cars, which are basically the same basic formula back then. And but I pretty much drove it all: 3/4 midget, full-size midget, sprint cars, and all that.
Unbelievable. So how fast have you ever gone? What's the fastest you recall you ever going?
Well, I think it was, I have it actually on a sheet that it was in Michigan, 1993, when I set a record qualifying at 234.7, and my straight line speed was 252 miles an hour.
You got to be kidding me. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's pretty fast.
Yes, sir, it sure is. Well, let's talk about a wreck. What's the worst wreck you've ever been in?
Well, I've been in a few of them. Actually, relatively recent one was at Indianapolis. I was in 2003. I was actually testing one of my son's cars before the race, which I was technically might have had to qualify for one of his drivers that was injured at a race in Japan just before Indy, and so I had somebody in front of me that I was following had a big crash, blew an engine, and I ran over a debris in the middle of the track, and at over 222 miles an hour, basically on the telemetry. I flew up, about 20 feet in the air. I just had 3 flips over, and luckily it landed on its wheels. I didn't have much of just a very small injuries and so forth, but I was very, very lucky.
Very lucky. I've seen that video. The good Lord was taking care of you that day, my friend.
Yes, indeed. There was no vacancy up there. So,
oh my Lord, man. Well, I've done some reading. So it appears that the race is a lot safer than it used to be than, say, in the 70s. They've done a lot of things to make the racing safer. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, actually, as a driver, we organized in such a way that we started demanding some of the safety features to be incorporated in the cars. We were losing, way too many guys. Some years we lose 4 to 6 guys, in one season. And
Terrible.
It was like war. Yeah, it was the sport, obviously. It was very cruel. I know what, I mean, my brother suffered in that respect. He had tremendous, like extensive injuries throughout his career that affected him, the rest of his life. But to answer your question, we've come a long way. Yeah. And it was a gradual, how could I say, I think, improvement, and also it's still a work in progress.
Yeah.
I think, but today the sport is very, very responsible, and it's not only the cars but also the tracks themselves. Are made a lot safer, and today's drivers have the best chance ever to retire on their own terms. So. That's a big statement, and it's great for the sport.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like I said, you've had an unbelievable career. What is one of the things you're most proud of about it?
Well, I'm proud of a lot of things, such as having, my siblings, and also on my brother's side, between Aldo and myself, there are 8 of us. We're race drivers. And in the family, and that there's 2 races, 91 and 92, where 4 of us, 4 Andrettis, qualified for the Indy 500, which never happened before or since. The 4 members of the same family qualifying, for the 500. We've been on podiums. My son Michael and I have been on podium 15 times together. And
wow.
We were first and second 5 times. And we started in the front row 10 times together. So as father and son, I look back, how sweet is that, and how rewarding,
Absolutely.
I'll give you another one just as a family. In 1986, the Pocono 500, they had a supporting event as well before the big event. And my younger son, Jeff, qualified on pole for that, and he won that race. And Michael qualified on pole for the 500, and I won the 500. Between the 3 of us, we cleaned house the whole weekend. So, again, you can imagine the satisfaction that would derive from that, and me as a father, to see that my kids have been so successful. And so, like I said, the sport can be, was cruel in some ways, even to us to some degree, but also incredibly rewarding, no question. So we have nothing but positives about the sport in a possible way.
Absolutely. The next question is going to be kind of odd, probably, but what was it like to be in the movie Cars? I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think cool is the way to put it, really. I was asked to be the voice on actually, my car was the Daytona 500 winner, really. And so I had a little bit of a cameo appearance there, which was kind of cute. And people still send me, the real, what do they call it, the little cars. Yeah.
The little box cars or something.
Little box cars, for me to autograph still, so they're still around. So that race, that movie got a lot of legs. I think it was a great movie, actually.
I do too.
One that even adults could enjoy that one. It was a good story.
I agree. I still enjoy it. So I understand you're a big opera fan.
Well, yes. I sort of was introduced to opera at a very young age, and opera music is timeless. And obviously you're not going to listen to opera every day, but there's something about it that when you hear some the tenors, the famous ones of the times perform. And I mean, it's just the back of your hair just stands up. And the sopranos, and they're just the real headliners are just such few. And I mean, it's something that it's such a special, I'd say, I don't know, God-given, I don't know, opportunity, God-given something, to be able to have a voice like that and just perform in such a way that it just, an opera captivates you every single minute. Just they're amazing. So yeah.
And you sing opera, right?
Oh, sure, and especially in the shower.
We always sound better in the shower, don't we?
Yeah, good acoustics.
Absolutely. So, out of all the races, what's your favorite race?
Well, I always say that every one that I won, is a favorite race, but there's some that have more career value than others, as you can imagine. And I, when you win, say in Indy cars, you want to win a championship, which I won more than one. I mean, but what people remember for some reason is if you win Indianapolis. So winning Indianapolis and the biggest race in NASCAR, the most important race, I should say, is Daytona 500. So if you win that, which I did. And for me, winning in Monza, the Italian Grand Prix in 1977, on a personal level, had to be the favorite race because of where it all started for me.
Right.
And, and I was there 14 years old watching my idol, race there and then dreaming about it. And all of a sudden I'm winning there, and I figure, oh my goodness, it can't get any better than this,
So
yeah.
Surreal. Yeah. Who was your toughest competitor, you would say?
I wish there was only one. There were many, I just, sometimes I hate to even mention that because I know I'm going to leave somebody out. So,
yeah, right. Sure.
There's never just one, in almost every decade, you got somebody that's better than you. And that's in all sports, and that's what makes it interesting, challenging. But I've raced against some of the very best that ever, put a hand on the steering wheel of a race car. So that in itself is something very, precious to me.
Sure.
And so, yeah, there were many.
Do you remember your first paycheck when you actually earned some money after in a race?
Yeah, I mean, the first paycheck, it was cash. It was the very first race. The very first race that I raced professionally in 1959, the very first race, I earned $150. And I won the heat race as well, which was $25. So my very first race, I won $175, which was a lot.
A lot of money.
In those days, yeah.
That's back when it was a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
What advice do you have for new race car drivers today?
Well, I think any young lads that want to pursue this career is just stay with the mindset. It's nothing worthwhile is really easy. Just work hard. And if you really have the passion for it and the desire, don't give up. Don't give up. There's always be a bump or two on the road. I look myself, I'm a perfect example of the impossible dream, at a certain age, which came true. Why? Because I never had a plan B. I just pursued that cost. And
right.
That's really for anyone, any young person that wants to pursue something like this, just never give up. Just keep working at it. Something will pop up, and your dream, you work hard for, your dream will come true. That's all I can say.
Good advice. Very good advice. So I have two more questions for you, and I'm going to stay on my 30-minute time limit here. What do you most want to be remembered for, personally?
Well, I get asked that question often. Basically, remember for one, a person that just loved the sport more than anything. I could not dream about having done anything else in my life that gave me more satisfaction. Because of that, I think I'm a pretty good ambassador for the sport because I love it so much.
Absolutely.
And the sport has given our family, given us so much, and I'm so grateful for that. And but like I said, my passion never diminished. Quite honestly, it still is there today. And it's one guy that just lived for the sport. Quite honestly.
Good. And when I look at you, I look at a man that just has no fears. He's just unbelievable. Do you have any fears? That's my last question. Do you fear anything?
I always said that I fear poverty.
Poverty.
That's me going.
I have the same fear.
I was afraid of being poor. That's why I worked hard. And
it's good motivation.
I said that many times, that it's not the fear of being hurt or anything else. My fear was to be poor.
That's good motivation. Well, I want to thank you for coming on and taking time out of your day to be with us for a little while. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
You're a class act. And I just want to thank you again, and God bless you, my friend.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Cheers.